White House Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough says while the administration lacks irrefutable evidence of chemical weapons attacks by the Assad regime, it passes what he calls the common sense test. Today, President Obama gives interviews to CBS and other networks ahead of his Tuesday night speech in prime time. He is fighting to gain support in Congress, and Major Garrett is at the White House. Major, good morning.
Well, good morning, Jeff and Nora. This is a pivotal week for the Obama White House, and many people close to the president acknowledge it's the most important week of the second term of his presidency, because the way the Syria debate turns out will likely influence many other things the president hopes to accomplish in his second term. There are many parts of this story. There's the evidence, there's where the White House finds itself on Capitol Hill, and the message that the White House will be delivering this week. Let's take them in sequence. On the evidence, the White House says, as Dennis McDonough mentioned, it's a common sense case that the Syrian regime of Bashar Assad launched this chemical weapons attack, but they can't prove that absolutely. That has proved problematic for the administration in some of these classified briefings. When they say it's a common sense circumstantial case, some lawmakers want more evidence, and until they see it, they may not vote to back this up. Where does the White House find itself on Capitol Hill? Surprisingly, they thought they could win somewhat easily in the Senate. That's now become somewhat of an open question. At least 8 Senate Democrats, possibly as many as 12, either oppose or are leaning no on this. That jeopardizes the president's prospects in the Senate. They're way, way behind in the House. That's something they'll deal with after the Senate. And as far as the Senate lobbying is concerned, last night the president dined at the vice president's residence with about half a dozen Republicans. On Tuesday, who will meet with all Senate Democrats at their luncheon to press his case. Now, what about the messaging from the White House? As you said, Jeff, 6 network interviews today, including CBS, then a primetime address on Tuesday. The president will be using every tool in his toolbox not to bring a new message to the American public. The administration acknowledges they're not going to change the poll numbers, which are lopsidedly against striking the Syrian regime, but they want to meet members face to face and persuade them one at a time. That's a hard proposition for the White House. They intend to work that as hard as they can, using the president on these network interviews and the primetime address tomorrow. One other voice that will come to the president's aid today, one who's been on the sidelines for quite some time, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, will back military strikes against the Syrian regime in an event here at the White House. Nora, Jeff.
All right, Major, thank you very much. And you can see Scott Pelley's interview with President Obama tonight during CBS coverage of the U.S. Open Men's Tennis Championship.